Okay, I made a video already on flashing a X96 uh, Chinese Android TV box, and this is just another video where I'm going to actually flash it's a TX3 mini box, and this specific version is actually TX3 mini -A. And so I'm not sure if there's not several revisions, and the ROM that I'm actually going to use doesn't work on all of them, but I'm just going to go through the process. And so I'll provide a link, to download this burn card maker is what it's called on here. And so on this, like the other software, you have to basically change it from Chinese to English, and so I selected the second menu item, which was, now you can see, basically you go down to the second item, and that's actually language, and then you just choose. You'll be able to see, obviously, that you can choose from Chinese or English. So now that I've actually got that done, we can, load the micro SD card, and obviously I use a USB adapter, to put the micro SD card in, so I can actually burn it on the my computer. And then I'm going to select the option to to partition and format, and then on these specific boxes, there was only this ROM that I have here, and it'll provide a link to, is actually the only one that supports Wi-Fi on the box, because there's actually two other versions or ROMs that for some strange reason don't have any Wi-Fi support. So it might just be possible that the TX3 Mini might have some newer revisions that have slightly different hardware, or a chipset in them, that it may be possible that the ROM actually would work fine on some other revision of the TX3 Mini box, but the two I have, there is no Wi-Fi support, or seemingly the drivers don't support Wi-Fi on two of the three ROMs that I tried. So the ROM I'm actually burning to the micro SD card is actually the one that actually is the only one that actually works. So I'm just going through the process here, and then once it's done, we can actually go to the actually flash updating the box itself, and rather than actually directly connecting your computer via mail-to-mail USB cable, basically all you're going to do is we're going to insert the micro SD card into this micro SD slot on the box, and then basically you're going to just depress a reset button, which is just a tiny hole on the bottom of the box, and then once you apply power to it, it'll actually just start into update mode, and update the box from the ROM that's on the micro SD card. So it's actually it requires less equipment, because obviously you don't have to have a USB mail-to-mail cable, and all you have to really have is a micro SD card. So It might be kind of an easier process for a lot of people, but it still, requires you to actually make the micro SD card before you can actually update the box. So as we're waiting here, I guess maybe I'll just pause the video for a little bit and then I'll come back to it. But okay, I've actually flashed the TX3 mini box, and so I'm just actually going to go through the some things on the new firmware that's actually on the box now. And so actually this is the boot videos that actually load on startup, and I've already done the most of the pre-configuration things, which are kind of a lot like what you'd actually have to do on any device, like including an Android phone. And so you'd actually have to set up your language, and then you'd actually have to choose your Wi-Fi hotspot or your Wi-Fi connection, and then after you're connected to the internet, it'll look for updates on the internet, and then basically then from there it'll actually go into where you need to set up your Google account so you can actually download other apps and do other things on the internet. So I've already done all those things, and this is kind of what the interface actually looks like. The only thing I've actually done is I've actually added and removed a few apps from the box. There was a copy of Smart YouTube on here that I kind of disabled because I don't want to see two copies. I don't need to have the previous stable version and the beta version running at the same time. So after I download this beta version, I just disabled the stable version, that the beta version replaced. And then I actually installed Kodi because that's usually what I use for all my video watching. And so what I do is I have a backup copy of everything that I have set up in Kodi that I can restore onto a new box. And so then basically it works exactly like the Kodi on another box that I used the backup from or restored from that backup. So I just I guess I don't. The interface doesn't actually look like this once I get it configured, but I just decided to load it to show you what the default interface of Kodi looks like. There's actually a few apps that are actually installed under the settings. By default, this box is actually, by default, it actually is rooted, and you can either turn it on or off. Obviously, as you can see, there's some other possible things that you may want to look at under settings, but I'm not going to go into depth with that. Like I say, there was only one app that was removed and one app that was added. So, but these are essentially the only apps actually that were on the device. I added Kodi and removed the stable version of Smart YouTube because I don't need 2 copies of Smart YouTube, and I can just use it as a beta version. So I'm going to just kind of show you the SmartTube is actually just a replacement for the default YouTube app, and it has some features to that might be beneficial for a lot of people. That it does allow you to actually bypass some things that you don't want to maybe sit through, like commercials and ads and so forth and so on, that like the default YouTube client will. But can't say what all the other features are because I don't use it all that much, but I do use it. So but I think anything is probably an improvement over the default YouTube client. So obviously you can go into Google Play, and there's quite a few actually other video, TV, movie apps that you can actually install on this box. I can't make any recommendations because I don't use many of them, and I just use Kodi for most things. But you can install whatever you want. I guess maybe it would be interesting. Checking the weather every once in a while. That might be something I want to do. And as I don't use a lot of the other video apps, I can't really say, for sure which ones I may have used in the past. But like I say, it's basically your choice to install what you want. There's also probably some regular Android apps that will actually work on this box too. And the only real issue with the regular Android apps is you may need to set up. It'll look like it doesn't have it on here, but sometimes actually without a special app to do the rotation for the display from the app, basically it'll look like it does on a phone. So it'll just basically be a narrow strip right down the middle of your Android screen, and kind of makes it kind of unusable. But I can't say, I don't know, I can't remember the name of the exact app that you would want to use if you wanted to utilize other Android apps and have them display properly on Android TV. So essentially I just wanted to give a quick overview of the Android box, and so the only other real benefit of this box is that actually it is capable of being a dual boot device. So you can actually use it for retro gaming too. So essentially, if you set up retro gaming, using like Betocera, you would flash Betocera to USB or micro SD card, and then add all your ROMs and games to that that flashed media, micro SD or USB flash drive. And then you actually once it's all set up, all you really need to do is basically plug it into the micro SD port or into the USB flash drive port, and then select restart your box. So okay, so I have the USB, and so I did have a little bit of an issue actually getting it to boot off the flash drive. It will start from the flash drive and load directly into Betocera as long as I actually have the flash drive plugged in. And so, like I say, this not that you can see it, but obviously, like I say, it does work. So we can actually, play retro games too, off the same box, and it's actually just loading directly off of a USB flash drive. In this case, it's actually a 256 gigabyte flash drive with, I don't know, let me see here. Obviously, it's gonna, it has several thousand games on it because some of the oldest games actually aren't very big and aren't very technically advanced. So actually, this actually has 20,594 games on it, and I don't know if it's completely full, but try to make sure that all the games aren't duplicated. But essentially, I just had to show this this part where it's actually loading Betocera, where so you actually can buy one box and can be used as dual purpose box, and the only thing you actually have to do is you have to have the external media with the retro gaming system set up on it in order to use the TX3 Mini as a retro gaming device. I think there's other flashable images that will actually also boot off the same box, including Libre Elec, which is actually just a standalone version of Kodi, and there is another retro gaming distribution that is kind of like Betocera, but I can't remember the exact name of it. But I think it just starts with EX, and I can't remember the rest of it because I really never use it. I guess the thing is that Betocera runs on so many different devices, including computers, Raspberry Pi boxes, and all kinds of other hardware that I just use Betocera for most things. So essentially, like I say, this box is actually equivalent to a Raspberry Pi box and makes a perfectly fine retro gaming box. So you don't have to just use it for only watching videos, TV, and movies. It can also be used for retro gaming when you're bored with what's on the TV. So I guess I just end it there, and essentially appreciate you watching this video, and hope to see you again next time.